Okay, so let's look at this first story. Sean has scores of 72, 67, 82, and 79 on his algebra exams. He wants to pass the course with an average of 77 or higher. What score does he need to get on the final exam if it counts as 2 test scores? Okay, so we read it through once to get an idea of what's going on. Now let's go back and pick it apart and see what it's telling us. So the first thing it tells us is that Sean has exam scores, right, of 72, 67, 82, and 79, right? Do I care that it's in an algebra class? No, it could be in any class. So his current exam scores, right? We've got 72, 67, 82, and 79, right? Got it. He wants to pass the course with an average of 77 or higher. So he wants his, let's see, what does he want? He wants the average, right? So he wants his final average to be what? 77 or higher. So what does it mean? Give me something else instead of 77 or higher. Good, greater than 77. Could it be equal to 77? Yeah, because it said he wants the average to be 77 or higher. So it could be greater than or equal to. He wants his final average to be greater than or equal to 77. Good? Okay. So now what score does he need to get on the final exam if it counts as 2 test scores? So we have the final exam score, right? Do we know what it is? No. So I'm going to call it F. F for final. But the last line told us that the final exam counts as, yeah, it counts as 2 exam scores. So I'm going to write it twice so I remind myself that it counts twice. Okay, so here's our information. And you're like, okay, well, where do I go from here? You know, in the information we picked out here, there's one key word that tells me exactly what I've got to do. Some of you may see it, average. How do you average any numbers? Good. To average, you add them all up, right? You add up the scores, and then what do? Good. You divide by the number that you added, right? And that equals the average score, right? Okay. So in this case, I have to add up all the scores, don't I? So I'm going to take the 72, add it to the 67, to the 82, to the 79, and I'm going to add those 2 finals in there. And then you're supposed to divide by how much you added. Well, how many scores am I adding? I'm adding 6. I have these 4 exams, plus I'm counting the final twice, so I'm dividing by 6. And that equals the average, right? But in our case, it's not an equality. It's an inequality, and I want this to be greater than or equal to the 77. Cool? Does this make sense? Okay. And now we have an inequality to solve, don't we? All right, so what are you going to do first? Yeah, I agree. I'm going to add these 4 exam scores up first. What did you get? Good. I got the same thing. I got 300 plus 2F divided by 6, right? And that's greater than or equal to 77. What are we going to do next? I agree. I want to get rid of that denominator, which means, yeah, we're going to multiply both sides by 6. It's a positive 6, isn't it? So do I have to flip the inequality sign? Nope. Good. So I end up with 300 plus 2F, I know you guys have your calculators out, greater than or equal to what? Good. 462. Everybody agreed? Excellent. And I'm running out of space there, so I'm just going to continue my work over here. So, now what? Move the 300 over. So we have 2F is greater than or equal to 162, and then divide by 2. And it's a positive 2, so the inequality sign will not get flipped. So, what does Sean need to get on his final exam if he wants his average in the class to be 77 or higher? And 81. The final exam score needs to be greater than or equal to an 81 in order to achieve his goal. Cool? Awesome. Hang in there. I got another story for us.